Thank you ever so much for your insights on those global matters. As mentioned, let's now move to the BRICS nations, starting with the Kremlin, of course, Russia, which has reacted to US President Donald Trump's tariff threats against BRICS countries, saying the group's work is not aimed at any third country. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov stressed that BRICS cooperation has never been and will never be targeted against others. The statement comes after Trump warned BRICS members of higher tariffs if they pursue what he called anti-American policies. BRICS leaders earlier described Trump's tariff war as indiscriminate and damaging to global stability. Brazilian President Luiz Lula da Silva slammed the move, saying the world doesn't need an emperor. With tensions high, BRICS insists its goal is cooperation and not confrontation. Let's have a listen to that statement from the Brazilian president.
Porque eu não acho uma coisa muito responsável e séria presidente da República de país do tamanho dos Estados Unidos ficar ameaçando o mundo através da internet. Não é correto. Ele precisa saber que o mundo mudou. Não queremos imperador. Esse país tem lei, esse país tem regra, e esse país tem dono chamado povo brasileiro. Portanto, dê palpite na sua vida e não na nossa.
I'd like to welcome Professor Georgie, an international affairs expert joining us from Moscow to discuss these updates from BRICS. Professor Taraya, as always, thank you for being here. I first of all want to look at Trump's statement, anti-American. What does he mean by that? Professor Taraya, just checking that you can hear me okay? Hello, Professor Taraya, can you hear me okay? I believe we're having some issues there, so we will get back to Professor Georgie Taraya. But this, of course, comes after the BRICS summit held on July the 6th and July the 7th. BRICS nations growing in 2023 and forming an alliance of growing nations and growing economies, many, however, with difficulties and potentially different ideologies to the United States. That includes Russia, also of course includes China and Iran, who have recently been involved. Seeing these visuals here in the background, you can see Abbas Araghchi, who's the Iranian foreign minister, who was involved of course deeply in the US-Iran tensions during that 12-day Israel-Iran war. I believe we are now once again joined by Professor Georgie Taraya. I'll just rephrase my question, Professor. Donald Trump's made a statement where he's spoken about anti-America threatening tariffs. What does he mean by anti-America? I believe we have lost Professor Taraya once again as we get that